It has been a particularly deadly month for American troops, especially in Afghanistan, and no death is easy for us to report. But recently, one hit close to home for our newsroom. In May of last year, we covered the homecoming of more than 300 Camp Lejeune Marines from Iraq. We featured the story of the Lasher family. Our cameras were rolling when Lance Corporal Jeremy Lasher got to hold his infant son for the very first time. This year, Lance Corporal Lasher was killed in action in Afghanistan. I had the chance to talk with his wife again, hear why she says there is no distance too great for her love. From the video, you clearly see the pure joy of a husband returning home.
To be able to see him and just be able to look him in the eyes and say, I love you, is the best feeling in the world.
And a father seeing his child for the very first time.
I've been waiting, just over 6 months to see him, so it was a very good feeling. Pretty much like nothing I've ever felt before.
For the next year, they caught up on family time that would be limited. In April, Jeremy deployed again, this time to a different war zone with a different ending.
It feels like he's still there, like he's gonna call. It feels like someone ripped out my heart.
Andrea and Jeremy married 3 years ago in their early 20s, true love at its peak.
There's nothing out there that can say everything that I feel for him and that he is.
Jeremy also had a love for serving. After being a volunteer firefighter in New York, he joined the Marine Corps.
He's like, I want to do this not only for me, but for you. To give you a reason to be proud of me and to stand by me. And I said, I'm always proud of you. And he said, I want something that has a cause. To have a cause to do something and wake up every day to feel good to say, I am a Marine.
Not only is Andrea proud, her love for Jeremy is stronger than ever.
There's no distance for the love that we have. Our love goes past the distance between here in Iraq or here in Afghanistan, and it's the same even now.
And just because there was no homecoming here on Earth, Andrea says it doesn't mean one won't come later.
We will be together again. I know in my heart.
What if there was a way to help end the war on drugs and help clear the state's budget deficit at the same time? Some say the solution is right under our nose. Problem is, that solution is just as controversial and complicated as the problem itself, marijuana. It's already the most commonly used illegal drug in the U.S., so would it be safer and more beneficial for society if we started regulating it and taxing it? Not On Your Side tries to smoke out the truth behind legalizing marijuana.
We're every race and nationality.
And we're not going to give up.
On April 20th, the organization NORML launched a new TV ad, one of the first to outright support the legalization of marijuana.
You can tax it.
You can regulate it. Apply age restrictions.
You can create millions of new jobs.
We can save our economy.
Sounds appealing, right? Well, it's a lot more complicated than it sounds. We sat down and talked with Pitt County Sheriff Mac Manning.
I just don't see where there's any argument that legalizing marijuana or any other illicit drug would have any benefits to society as a whole.
Manning admits many people are smoking marijuana, even potential deputies.
I'm a little bit taken aback by the number of applicants we have now who mark on their applications, being truthful, that they had experimented with marijuana.
But he's adamant that is not a case to legalize it. Others disagree.
The truth is there are any number of reasons why marijuana prohibition has failed. It simply doesn't work at this point. We know it doesn't work. It's easier for a 12-year-old to go out and buy a bag of marijuana than it is for them to go out and buy cigarettes or alcohol, and that's due largely to the fact that it's unregulated.
David Ward is a criminal defense lawyer and doesn't see any reason why we shouldn't legalize marijuana.
We need to take a look at what we're trying to spend to enforce laws and policies that we know don't work, and contrast that with the benefits of legalizing, regulating, and taxing marijuana.
In 2005, a visiting Harvard University professor conducted the budgetary implications of marijuana prohibition report. It claims replacing prohibition with a system of taxation and regulation would produce tax revenues of at least $2.4 billion annually if marijuana were taxed like most consumer goods. It also says if marijuana were taxed like alcohol or tobacco, it might even generate as much as $6.2 billion annually. Furthermore, the report says if you legalize marijuana, you would save $7.7 billion per year, state and federal combined, from not having to enforce prohibition. But Sheriff Mac Manning says he's not sure legalizing marijuana would lower the cost to law enforcement because even if you are allowed to smoke it, there will still be court cases and arrests just like there is for alcohol.
Look at all the case law that's generated for DWI laws. Whereas when you're dealing with a substance like marijuana, it's illegal prima facie. It's much easier to enforce to a certain degree if you find it than what are all the circumstances of having it.
You know, I would say to the sheriff, it is there, people are using it. So I think that particular suggestion is sort of like taking an ostrich approach to it and just burying your head in the sand and pretending that it's not there and that it's not really involved.
And that's one of Ward's biggest arguments for legalizing marijuana. People are using it, and society would be better off if we could regulate it.
It's present, so what are we going to do about it? Are we going to leave it unchecked, or are we going to try and put some systems in place to protect our kids and to promote responsible use?
But would legalizing really protect our youth or create even more teen drug abuse? More on that after the break. In this morning's Make It Green report, we show you why a local brewery is getting ready to pour some green beer before the first keg is even tapped. When you think of green beer, you probably think of the beer you can buy on St. Patrick's Day. Welcome to the site of Mother Earth Brewing, where here, green refers to how they make the beer, not the color of the beer. With a name like Mother Earth Brewing, it's no surprise the men behind this Kinston brewery are trying to make it green from the inside out.
I love the area, and I wanted to take a historic building and basically rehab a building and bring it back to the way it was 50 years ago when it was built.
Not only are they restoring the original bricks and stairs, but the insulation will be made with 100% recycled blue jeans.
We will have tankless water heaters, so as soon as we're ready for the water to be hot, it heats it immediately and doesn't hold a lot of excess water, producing using energy and stuff that we do not need.
That's just the building. The process of making the beer will be shaded green too.
It's about the most efficient brewery you can get, which ends up calculating out to about 82% efficiency.
And farmers can tap in too.
We'll probably end up giving about 2,000 to 3,000 pounds a week of spent grain to a local farmer. They can use it from anywhere from composting to feeding the hogs and the cows.
What were you doing when you were 16 years old? Well, the young lady you're about to meet shares an interest that most girls her age have, hair and makeup. In fact, one day she wants to turn that interest into a business. But first, she has some other business to take care of, finding a family. We introduce you to Shanice in this morning's A Place to Call Home.
Well, I love to get my hair done, my nails done, and I like getting new clothes and stuff.
You may remember Shanice. We first met her 2 years ago in a nail salon. Today, 2 years older, at 16, we meet her at another nail place and still waiting to be adopted.
Well, I want to get adopted, but I don't know.
Now in the 10th grade, Shanice has her doubts that her dream will come true to one day have a loving family, but she hasn't lost hope yet. She shares with me that she thinks about it a lot.
So to have somebody to stay with and somebody that cares for me and stuff. Treat me like their own daughter.
But until that day comes, Shanice fantasizes about another dream she has, one day opening her own hair and nail salon.
I want to learn how to do hair and make a lot of money.
But before this young lady can make it on her own with a successful business, she needs the foundation of a family. Now, for more information on adoption, just go to our website, type in the keyword adopt.